Now, the million dollar questions, which everybody wants to know based on the title or description, they would have seen this. Why CA? Why Chartered Accountancy after doing BSc Botany?
See, I said I'm a BSc Botany graduate. I didn't want to do higher education. I wanted to go for employment. I was a cricketer at that time. I was playing league cricket. See, these things, you know what? It pulled me away from the office. I didn't want to do my CA. I was not interested in the course. For nearly 2.5 years of my articleship, I was against doing CA. Given the first opportunity, I would have run away from it.
So what would be your message to the students pursuing CA for finding it difficult to crack it? Whether commerce background or non-commerce background, what would be your message to them? Hello friends, welcome to Combrella YouTube channel. I am your host C.S.Karthik, and today for Combrella Conversations, we have with us a very special guest, Mr. Suresh Kumar, a practicing chartered accountant, and more importantly, he completed his CA course after doing BSc Botany. So the journey of Mr. Suresh Kumar from BSc Botany to a practicing chartered accountant is what is the topic for today's Combrella Conversations with Mr. Suresh Kumar. And the important purpose why I thought of having this conversation with Mr. Suresh sir, is that for two main purposes. One is for the students, who are finding it difficult, to crack the CA exams, whether they are from commerce background or from non-commerce background. So that is one particular thing. Students would find it inspiring. If Suresh sir from BSc Botany can complete CA, I think then anybody can do it. And also, it's a very unique story of Suresh sir. On the front of it, yes, BSc Botany to CA, but there are a lot of backdoor events at the back end, which would have happened, which is worth understanding the experiences, and which would be very interesting and inspiring, because it's a very unique experience of Mr. Suresh sir. So these are the things which what we are going to have a conversation about in today's video. So thank you, Suresh sir, for coming and accepting my invite for joining in this video, sir.
The pleasure is mine. If my experience can be of any help to anybody, I'd really love to share my experience.
Yes, sir. That's a great thing, sir. And one more thing I want to tell all the viewers is that though Suresh sir is 65 years old now, and he has been practiced for 30 plus years, more than 3 decades or 35 years, but still the essence of his story is still holds good even in today's time. Because there are people who do CA, coming from science background or non-science background, or even if not CA, even if you take this as just a career switching option, there are people who do this right now. So insights of Suresh sir would be really I would say helpful for all those people, and hence it'd be really interesting interview, sir, and I really look forward to go into today's interview. So are you ready, sir? We'll just start off with the interview.
Yes, surely I am ready. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Fine. So the first thing which I want to ask you, sir, is that if you can tell a timeline of your events, in your life, right from your 12th standard, and from there until you started, then 12 BSc Botany, inter, final, starting up the year of completion and the city in which you completed, so that people get a good summary of your life.
I am basically a science student, and my electives in school was science group. I completed my CBSE in the year 1973. After that, I did my BSc Botany, New College in Chennai, between 73 and 76.
Okay.
After that, I did my CA. That was between 77 or 76 end and 79 end. Till 1980, I was in the same office working as an assistant and trying to get some experience. In the meantime, I cleared my inter in 79 November, if my memory is right. And Yes, I did not clear my inter in the first attempt. It took me 3 attempts to get through inter. And after that, I joined Corporation Bank as a clerk in Salem. 1980, I joined there. I had written my final examination in November 80, and then joined Corporation Bank. When my results came in January, I managed to get exemption in 1 or 2 papers, but did not clear any group. So I decided to quit my job, and I quit my job in March 1981. After quitting, I came down to Kancheepuram to assist an income tax practitioner because basically I wanted to practice after completing CA. So I joined this practitioner's office. He had basically a spondylitis problem, and he wanted somebody to help him. So I came down to Kancheepuram on a salary basis with this firm. In 1983, I cleared my CA final. I was then in employment with this income tax practitioner, so I hardly got time to study. But then I completed one group after another. And in 1983, in May 1983, I cleared my CA final and joined Messrs. Shekhar and Mohan, Chartered Accountants. After that is somewhere in August, I joined Shekhar and Mohan, Chartered Accountants. From then on till date, I am one of the partners of Shekhar and Mohan, Chartered Accountants. Great, and sir. My practice is in Kancheepuram.
Fine. So just to summarize, 73 you cleared your higher secondary, 1976 BSc Botany, and then post that you joined you joined immediately your articleship as per the regulations at that time, and 79 you cleared your CA inter after 2.5 to 3 years, and then after that you were in employment with the income tax practitioner. 1983 you finished your CA final.
I cleared my final.
And then immediately you joined the practice, right? So that's a good, we have got a good structure, and based on that we will proceed, sir. Now the $1 million question, sir, which everybody wants to know based on the title or description, they would have seen this. Why CA? Why Chartered Accountancy after doing BSc Botany?
Well, it was not an option given to me. I was literally thrust into CA by my father. My father wanted me to be, I'm the only son to my father, and he wanted me to be a chartered accountant. Come what may, he said, you have to complete it, that is my wish. It was a sort of a sentimental pressure brought on me, I should say. A very sentimental pressure, and being the only son, and I didn't want to go against him. I wanted to fulfill his wishes. Though, at the time of joining CA, I did not know what CA was. I didn't know anything about it. Nobody told me. My background, my father is an agriculturist basically. And there is nobody in my family who did CA. My cousin, that is my cousin through my mom, he had done CA. Just because my cousin had done CA, my father wanted me to do CA. That is all. Neither did my father know what CA was. Let us be honest on that also. Neither of us knew about it. We just went into it. It's like, taking a dip, taking a shot in the dark. We didn't know where the target was, but we simply took the shot. So that's it. So I was thrust into this course.
So one thing I want to ask you, sir, yes, your father told, but did you not I have not used the word revolt, but at least persuade him, okay, dad, you want me to do CA, but I've done BSc Botany, why CA? I can do something else. Did you try to persuade him or try to convince him?
Yes, I did try once or twice. I told him I am not interested in higher studies. I would like to go for employment. And I told him I had already written up a back examination for this purpose. But my father, as I said, he had brought in a sentimental pressure on me. He said, that is my wish and I want you to fulfill. If you don't want to fulfill your father's wish, you can go ahead. No, that's the sort of pressure that is being brought on me. These days, you can't do that on your children. It's very difficult. They'll say, get lost. But I had to fulfill his dream, being the only son. So that's the reason why I did not go against it. I did not even argue. Okay, if that be it, we will do it. That's the spirit I took it.
But one thing which strikes me, sir, like your father told you to do CA, but why after BSc Botany? Why not? Generally people used to do BCom after 12th. Even science they'll do BCom and then do CA. Did it strike him late or not at that time?
Very true. See, as I said earlier, neither I nor my father knew what CA was. Okay. My father was fancied. He was really fancied by my cousin's qualification and the sort of treatment that he was getting in the society. That was the reason why he wanted his son to be a CA. That CA cannot be, in those days at least, the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India had said, science graduates and basically BSc Botany graduates should not come to this course. I would have been very happy. But then it was not so. So they said everybody could attempt this. My father thought his son was very brilliant, so he could complete this course. He didn't know his son was not that good. He was an average student.
Okay, sir. But BSc Botany was totally your choice. You were inclined to do that and you did that.
Yes, because my father was an agriculturist. I thought I'll go to BSc Botany or I will go for BSc Agricultural Science later on.
Then one thing I want to ask you, sir, what was the exact point of time your father told? For example, like you had finished your BSc Botany, completed your UG, you were applying for any employment or you were applying for post-graduation. What was the exact point of time like your father told like, no, now you do CA, or whether it was during your UG days itself, he was trying to mold you to come to CA?
No. See, in 73, 76, around that time, my cousin cleared CA and he got an employment immediately. So his status in the society grew. So at that point of time, looking at my cousin, my father said, okay, now you do CA. And he did not even tell me about it. He went straight to my uncle, told him, he was an income tax officer then. He told him, my son has also got to do CA. So please ensure he gets into that course. That is all. He came home and told me, you go and meet your uncle. He wanted you. I thought he's going to get me a job.
Okay.
So I went and sat in his office. And there, my uncle told me, your father wants you to do CA. You're going to see a few chartered accountants now. And they will help you to do CA. See, in those days, you could not go against elders. You could not speak against them. You could not argue with them. You see, that was the position I was in. And definitely nobody would argue with the income tax officer in his stead. You would be taking the big risk, isn't it?
And you mentioned like few times, like couple of times, so like the status of the Chartered Accountants Society those days. Like, could you just throw light upon, even today chartered accounts are looked upon very highly, but those days, how was the situation?
It was my cousin.
Yeah.
It was basically my cousin. So, he got his employment. There used to be a chauffeur-driven car coming to his house, picking him up and taking him to the office. Those things were there. And he had a good salary.
Okay.
His salary was a fat salary. See, one is the financial benefits and the social status that my cousin got, which really pulled my father. He was awed by the sort of social status and the financial returns that my cousin got, that he thought his son should also be getting that much of a salary and should have a chauffeur-driven car.
Okay, I can understand. So, those days, definitely those were big things. 1976 was really back in time. Yeah. And so which firm you did your articleship?
Yes. I did my articleship with Messrs. Ganesan and Company, Chartered Accountants. The head office is in Pondicherry and the branch office was in Chennai, Kacheri Road.
Okay. Fine, sir. So now, I mean, we have got a good insight into your, your plunge into the CA. What all happened, which made you in which you took the plunge. Now, coming to the next phase of this, conversation, your journey as a student of CA. Now, definitely, I mean, you have taken it and you were into articleship. How was your articleship like? Because that time you did articleship and then wrote inter. That 2.5 years to 3 years, how was your articleship? So, like, your experience that time?
See, I'm a BSc Botany graduate. I didn't want to do higher education. I wanted to go for employment. I was a cricketer at that time. I was playing league cricket. See, these things, it pulled me away from the office. I didn't want to do my CA. I was not interested in the course. For nearly 2.5 years of my articleship, I was against doing CA. Given the first opportunity, I would have run away from it. The real pathetic thing is, during those 2.5 years, I did not get a job.
Okay.
If I had got a job, I would have somehow convinced my father that I have got a job, this is going to be my salary, don't worry, I will grow in this. But I did not get a job. 2.5 years into it, I used to attend office, but my interest was not in the subject. I had never even studied during those 2.5 years for the CA course. I did not open the books. In fact, in those days, for writing your intermediate or final examinations, inter or final examinations for the matter, you had to write tests, which was postal.
Postal, okay.
Subsequently, you had to go to the institute and write the papers if you are placed in Chennai. But during my time, we could write it we could do postal coaching, and for that, I asked my friends to answer my question papers. Even that I did not do. I asked my friends to answer those question papers, and I used to simply copy that and send it to the institute. I got my eligibility for my inter doing that. Till then, I had not opened my books at all. That is how it was. But as an apprentice, I got an excellent exposure through my office. You see, it is not a big office. Most of my seniors had gone for bank audits. They were in concurrent audit of branches. So I was the only person to stay in the office. So to be the only person to stay in the office, I had to prepare income tax statements for our clients. I had to visit the income tax office. Those days you had to go and file the returns of income. And I was visiting the income tax office. And for giving details to the income tax office or officials, I had to go personally visit them. So I was both the chartered accountant, I was an apprentice, I was a typist, I was a peon in the office. I was all in all in the office, the only guy in the office. So that really stood me in good stead for my subsequent practice. Whom to contact, what to contact, when to contact. The only thing that I lacked was interest. If I had the interest in the subject at that point of time, maybe I would have cleared my CA much earlier than I did. It was only after this 2.5 years of time that I sat back and thought about myself, my future.
Okay.
I belong to the forward community.
Yeah.
Let us understand this. And so, getting a job is not going to be easy. There are reservations in Tamil Nadu, and getting a job is not going to be easy. After 2.5 years, what am I? I'm still a BSc Botany with about 2.5 years, which means 5 batches of students. That is June, September, if you take it that way. 5 batches of BSc Botany students joining me in the frame. So the competition has increased by 5 batches. So I'm sort of an old cook there. So no experience, absolutely no experience. My experiences in the auditor's office is not going to help me at all.
Yes.
So I was the same Suresh 2.5 years back. I thought I had to do something for this. It was only then it dawned on me, and I decided, okay, come what may, do or die, finish off CA. That is what I decided. After 2.5 years of my articleship, I opened the books. I started studying only then. That's it.
So maybe the practical reality is like now you need to, now you need to support your family, or you need to, as a grown-up son or single son, elder son. I think those things really, the reality hit you hard, sir, that time.
No, see, during my articleship, I had no problems. See, it was only in 80s. See, in 80, actually, after I completed my articleship, during 80s, I got the employment in Corporation Bank.
Okay.
I joined Corporation Bank, Salem branch, Salem Sharemarkets branch. At that point of time, I had cleared my inter.
Okay.
So, the interest in the subject, I had taken a decision. I wanted to do CA, and I had cleared inter at that point of time. Having cleared inter, I wanted to do CA final because I wanted to fulfill my father's dream. So I decided I will do CA final. Since I got the employment, I joined the bank in exactly, I should say, 16th of November 1980. I joined Corporation Bank Sharemarkets branch. I worked there. I got my final CA final results. I had written all the 3 papers. In January, I got the results. I had only 1 or 2 exemptions. Otherwise, I did not clear all the groups. None of the groups I had cleared. At that point of time, I decided, do I continue with this employment or do I quit? Then I decided I will quit. I will quit for the sake of completing this course. This course I knew was not beyond me. I had put in about 16 hours per day, at least for about 3 months in that during that period. When I completed my inter, 16 hours per day I used to work. Morning 5:30 onwards, I used to attend classes. I had accountancy class and I had tuition only for maths. For all of the subjects, I learnt it on my own. There was no tuition. You didn't have this sort of
coaching classes
at that point of time. I remember, I think it is only the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India which had classes for CA, inter or final for that matter. There were no academies, there was nothing like that earlier. So I had this problem. And, attending to 3 many tuitions was also, it would be really taxing my parents on the purse. So I thought I will have a tuition for math. Math was a subject which I didn't like at any point of time. And my maths was during my 9th, where it was PNR by 100 is what my maths was then.
Okay.
Simple interest, compound interest is what I learned those days. And our institute maths papers had calculus in it. It had all other things in it.
Oh my God, yeah.
So it was all Greek and Latin, my friend. And all subjects were Greek and Latin. But the only saving grace was I had an excellent accountancy teacher. His style approach was excellent. It was not like taking classes. He had exercise books with him. It would spread over his table. He would say, do this sum on each chapter. He was so thorough in all, all those books he had with him. He was very good. My maths teacher was really good. As far as the other subjects are concerned, because of my English knowledge, I was able to read them and read the subject and learn. I had nobody to help me in my house because I didn't have the back. None of my people. If I kept the book upside down and I was studying, my father would not have noticed it.
Okay.
See, that is the sort of situation I was in. So, that is under those circumstances, I completed my CA intern. And having done that, having tasted success, I thought CA was not beyond me.
Understood.
I should do it. So
Understood.
I took it up very seriously and started for the final. For final, I did not, in fact, I did try attending classes for intern. I went to the institute, I enrolled myself, I went for the classes, accountancy class. The first day, I'm a non-commerce student. I was taught debit the receiver, credit the giver. I was very happy about it. I understood it very well. The second day they went, it was all ledger posting. Yes, I got. The third day, they started off with final accounts, adjustment entries, etc., etc. It's all Greek and Latin. And on the fourth day, I felt that if I started attending classes on a daily basis, I will lose my basic confidence. So I stopped going to the classes, institute classes. I thought I will read at home, sit at home and study, have somebody else to teach me accountancy. That is the way I learned. And I followed the same rules for CA final also. Maybe at that time, there was some academy of accounting, etc., which came up with the institute. There, that I attended. My exposure was slightly better when I came to final. And at that time, my confidence level was also better off. But I had come to Kancheepuram for employment. You see, I wanted to practice.
Okay.
I really wanted to practice. That's the reason why I came to Kancheepuram. Because I didn't like to work under anybody. I'd never liked, and that's the reason why I did not go for employment. And I wanted to be my own boss.
Okay.
But only after coming to practice, I knew I had too many bosses than I thought I would have. Everybody, income tax officer was a boss to me. My clients were boss to me. It's all difficult.
Yes.
So that's it.
And one of the amazing things, like CA at any point of time, even today, it is so difficult to do. I mean, coming from BSc Botany background, I think it's just, the toughness is just 4-5x from what, So it's really amazing. And so one thing I want to ask you, when you're doing, what was the most, somewhere kind of what you have told this, but which was the most difficult part, like to crack this course? What you felt the most difficult thing? Was it the mindset or some subjects or something?
No. See, every subject was new to me. So I had no preferences at all. Okay. Everyone was, every one of the subject was staring down at me. So they were not good friends anyway.
Everything was Greek and Latin.
Yes, it was all Greek and Latin for me. So subject wise, I didn't have any. I have no preferences, etc., etc. But to tell you frankly, the difficult part was to understand the question paper. And I realized, during the number of attempts that I had, I realized that you cannot skip any part of the syllabus. You should not skip, and you cannot skip, because the question papers are so well framed that it somehow covers the entire syllabus. 1. 2. The answer papers are corrected by professionals.
Yeah.
And professionals hardly have time.
Yeah.
They don't like to see nonsense. You can't write stories in your examination papers. You have to be precise and to the point. And 3, you cannot think in the examination hall when you write the answers. You have to be mechanical about your answering, which means the subject has to get into your head strongly and thoroughly. Only then can it come out. You cannot sit back and imagine or think about a particular point and then answer the question paper. It is impossible because the time is not adequate. Absolutely not adequate. And if you don't answer all the questions that are asked for, then you might not get the pass mark. And even if you do get the pass mark, you will not get the aggregate. That's going to be the problem. So you have to be to the point, precise, and make it short. That is, ensure that whatever you have understood, you have put it in your answer paper, and the person who reads your answer paper must also understand that this guy knows something. That is very important. And your workings must be very clear without any ambiguity. That is very, very important. as far as this examination is concerned. You cannot take you can't take options. You cannot skip portions. That is very, very important.
So I think the strategies which you have shared, I mean, those are applicable even now for anybody who is doing CA. So those strategies are relevant still now. So I think it's important for all the students that they take up the strategies as given by Suresh for clearing CA. Now, sir, going ahead into the interview, one of the few things, another important thing which I wanted to ask you is, so once you decided to take up CA, and then you said you took 3 attempts for inter and 3 attempts for final, correct?
Yeah.
So during those times, you have taken CA as per your father's wish. Now, how was the your environment in the family? Like, were they supportive or they hostile? Since you were taking some 3 attempts in inter final, though it is standard those days, not everybody would clear in first attempt. But how was the family's support? Were they hostile or were they very supportive?
No, they were never hostile. Basically my father knew that I was dealing with a subject which was totally alien to me. So that part he was able to understand from all the hard work that I had put in. And he knew that I had put in the hard work because I was doing it right in front of him. Because he has seen me how I used to study when I was in college. And he has seen me in a totally different mode when I came to CA. So he knew it was a tough course. And my cousin had also told him several times that don't expect everybody to clear in the first attempt. That he is doing, say, after doing botany itself is a great achievement as far as Suresh is concerned. So please don't pester him. That was one basic thing. And they had to be supportive, and they were supported, definitely supported. That is what I should say. And there's one other basic thing. Once I came down to Kancheepuram, I was the breadwinner in the family at that point of time. My father had quit agriculture, and I was the breadwinner. So I don't know if he chose not to shout at me because of that. It's in a lighter vein. Okay, so that's it.
Okay, sir. And one thing which I want to ask you, what was your father's reaction when you went and told him that yes, you have cleared CA, you are a chartered accountant now? How was the feeling? What was, if you can recreate some moments for us?
Oh yes, no. The moment I cleared inter itself, there is so much of joy in his face. He knew that if I can clear inter, he thought I will clear final. That was his opinion. And frankly speaking, I tell you, he used to do a lot of prayers for my sake. And the moment I cleared CA, I thought I saw my father. He was the most happiest person in the world on that particular day. In fact, he was more happy than I was when I cleared the course, because I had done something which he wanted me to do it, and I had fulfilled his wishes. So that way, he was very happy with me, I should say.
Were there tears rolling your eyes or his?
Oh yes. You know something? My father had never hugged me right through my life, and that is the first time he hugged me.
Oh,
I should say.
That's really, emotional, sir. Really sentimental, but emotional next moment to.
Yeah. Truly yes.
Yes, sir. And just one thing, sir, what would be your message to the students pursuing CA for finding it difficult to crack it, whether commerce background or non-commerce background? What would be your message to them?
See, in fact, when I take up apprentice in my office, I always interview them and take them. Interview in the sense, I basically try to find out if they are really interested in the course. I didn't want them to be another Suresh being trusted to this course by their parents, brothers, sisters, etc. That should not be the case. You should show interest. You see, once you come out of schools, and if you come out of colleges, in the initial stages, you didn't have this. What is this?
CPT.
Yeah. You didn't have that at that point of time. You had to complete a degree and then come in. So you have reached a certain position in your life where you have to take your own decisions. The decisions cannot be thrust on you. You have to understand, you have to realize, you have to know your potential and what the course requires. Unless you know these two, you cannot complete this course. And for all this, you should have interest in the subjects. If you don't have interest in the subject, you cannot clear this course. Number one, this is not a BCom or a BSc examination where you can afford to skip portions, appear for the examination and clear it. This is one particular examination where you need to be 100% thorough in all the syllabus, in all the portions that is allotted to you. That is, you cannot skip anything. The entire syllabus has to be covered by you. And mind you, you're going to be an expert and you need an expert's knowledge in this particular in all the subjects that you're dealing in. Okay, nothing comes easily. Never, nothing comes easily. Everything comes out of hard work and sweat. But for CA, with due respects to all chartered accountants who are qualified and who are much better placed than I am, I would only say CA does not require brains. It requires systematic, dedicated hard work. That is my understanding of CA. It cannot start from the last 3 months before the examination. It has to start from day one. And if you can afford to put in about 4 hours per day, 4 concentrated hours per day, if not 4 hours, at least 2 hours per day, concentrated effort from day one, I don't think you can fail in CA examination. That is my sincere opinion. So it is not a tough course. It is definitely not a tough course. It is a rigorous course, I should say. Yes, you have to put in hard work, and if you can put in, I think you will succeed. That is my honest and sincere opinion. Well, I always tell my boys, if they fail in an examination, I tell them, look, if a BSc Botany can do it, why not you? You're all BCom graduates, and you have the support, you have the classes that you can attend. So you always take my life as an example, and I should be inspiring you to complete this course. That is what I always tell my students. And in this, I put it across to everybody. In my opinion, if Suresh can do it, everybody else can do it.
Right,
because
sir.
Suresh is not a brilliant student. He is only an average student.
Yes.
He used to play a lot of cricket. Okay.
Yes. Like
so he had lots of distractions.
Yeah.
He had lots of distractions.
Yeah.
You should not have distractions. If you don't have distractions, and if you can put in hard work, and if you do it systematically, there is no way that you will not clear CA. That's
and one important thing I would like to touch upon, sir. Like you said, you did not like CA, but then you did it. And when you are interviewing the articles in your firm, you ask them whether you really like it or not, right? But definitely, if you take your career as an example, you did not like it, but eventually you ended up finishing it and liking it also along the way. So there are a lot of students also who are still doing CA, maybe not exactly to parents' pressure, but due to some financial, they cannot do MBBS or various things. So CA is a really low on cost course. So a lot of students I have come across who really are not like passionate about CA, but they are like in between. Neither they like very much or they don't dislike on the other hand totally. So what would be your advice or thing to tell them how to develop that, maybe how you developed it, how you develop that interest, or for those people who want to do it because of certain, like you had your father's compulsion, some people have their family compulsion or they want to earn well. So what would be your advice to develop the interest at least for some time and work, and then maybe they can take a new course, future they can change, maybe 10 years down the line they can change their career, but to complete it.
No, see, you have chosen to do this course, either under compulsion or otherwise. Once you have chosen to this course, I think if you have crossed about 2 years of the course, then I think you have wasted 2 years of your life. You look at it that way. Okay. So once you look at it that way, you will have to develop interest in the subject. I can give you an example. I don't know how relevant it is. It's like your parents getting you married to a girl. Maybe the girl is not of your choice. Maybe. But then under compulsion, you're getting married to that particular girl. And the rest of your life is going to be with that girl. So in case you did not like her at the beginning, you better start liking her subsequently. Try to find out what is very interesting about her, what is good about her, and get to know the good things about her and try to understand those things. Start liking those things. Similarly, you try to do that for CA course also. Once you start doing that, I think once the interest comes into the course, you will definitely clear. I mean, you don't distance yourself from the course. Take it as a challenge. You can do it. You should take it as a challenge and do it. You will succeed. That is for sure.
Okay. And so one important thing I wanted to also ask you, like right now, I mean, or even at that time, after you finished CA, immediately went into practice. And as you told, your cousin was, working was in employment, getting a fat salary, car used to come and pick him. Practice in CA is considered difficult even today, and also definitely would back in that time also. So even after you had toiled so hard to clear CA, why you did not choose to go for an employment, which was relatively simpler than practice? Because practice requires constant updation, financial background, contacts, connections. Yes. What was that thought process?
Sorry, I didn't have the financial background, nor did I have the contacts. See, I hail from agricultural families, so you don't have contacts in the market. And financially, I'm not well off. I was not well off at that point of time. But because of my exposure to practice in my office, because I was both the student, I was the chartered accountant, I was the clerk, I was a typist, I was a peon in the office. It's a one-man show in that particular office. That those 2.5, 3 years in the office helped me a lot. So my passion for practice grew. That is the reason why I wanted to practice. Since I did not have the right contact nor the financial background, I came to Kancheepuram and worked in this income tax practitioner's office to take it over subsequently on my completion of CA. And I did that. Yes, I paid a royalty for that.
Okay.
And royalty out of earnings.
Understood.
It's royalty payment out of earnings.
Okay.
And for till such time I cleared the royalty, I was paying interest at 18% on it.
Okay.
Okay. So that is the sort of but in practice, I always had that mental satisfaction. If I go to the income tax office, see here, income tax practice is the main practice. Yeah. Audits are much less. Yes. It's only after 84 when tax audit came in, there's something called audit that we were carrying on. It was all income tax practice. And I had some excellent income tax officers during those days. That is, I am talking about 84 onwards. 84 to the 90s, 95, 96. We had some excellent income tax officers who taught you the subject. Oh. So they taught you the subject. They were excellent, I would say. And those people, once you win a case representing before them, you have that mental satisfaction of having achieved something. That I had lots of it during my practice. I would say that really was the cornerstone of my success in practice as far as this Kancheepuram is concerned. It's a small town. And you don't look at it, basically, it's not a very financially rewarding place. But then the job satisfaction because of my practice.
That's amazing, sir. And one another question which I wanted to ask you, sir, have you met any other chartered accountant with kind of a very contrasting background like yours, like something very contrasting like as you? Have you met?
No, I have not come. There are very few. Very few who had come from BSc Botany into this particular course as BSc Botany, or for that matter, even zoology. Mm-hmm. I haven't seen anybody that way at least in my practice. I'm not trying to say there's nobody like me.
Okay.
There could be quite a few of them. But I can tell you one. I'll give you one particular example. You see, don't get disheartened by your failures. Now that you ask me this question, don't get disheartened by your failures, because failures is a stepping stone to success. If you fail, you take it in a positive way. Yes, I'm going to learn the subject all over again, which means my knowledge of the subject is going to improve. That is the approach that you need to have. Don't feel that you failed. Yes, it's very difficult to go through the same chapter all over again, and then if you don't clear it, you're going to find it tough. But then take the positive side of it. My subject, I'm going to be thorough in the subject. So that is the approach. I had a classmate of mine who did BSc Botany with me in New College. His name is Sundar. He was number 1 in the class. I was number 2 in the class.
Oh.
Both of us did CA.
Oh my God. Oh.
Both of us did CA and in different places. But after 2 attempts, we were both in the same boat. We had not cleared. When it came to the 3rd attempt, my friend hung himself in the fan.
Oh my God. Oh.
Which means he didn't have the guts to face.
Oh.
Which is not correct. That is very bad.
Your friend who was a topper in BSc was a topper.
Yes, he was class topper in BSc. But then your approach to the subject is very important.
Yeah.
You cannot by heart everything and vomit. That is not possible. You have to understand the subject and study. Okay. And this boy did not have the guts to face the examination. If you don't have the guts to face the examination, where do you have the guts to face life? Life is something more difficult than this damn examination. Why don't these people understand? I mean, he was the only son to his parents. He did not think about them. He did not think about them for a second. That was his biggest mistake. So, never ever think in those lines. That is absurdity and stupidity to the core. That's my sincere opinion.
Fine, sir. We are coming to the closing part of this conversation. Just few couple of questions. With that, we will be closing it.
Fine.
If you were now, you have seen it, right throughout. You have seen life, CA life, your practice, and life as such. If you were to step in your father's shoes, I mean, you're 65 years now. I mean, I'm sure like your children would have definitely settled. But if you were to step in your father's shoes now, and would you tell maybe your grandson or granddaughter like to do something like such a dramatic or such a drastic change of careers? Would you like do what your father did to you?
No. I wouldn't like somebody to go through what I have worked through. Okay. See, I have been very lucky in my life. I have been very lucky in my life. God has been with me as support. You can't expect this to happen to everybody every day. This is very, very important. And these days, the children are better informed than the parents. Let us understand that. They have a lot of exposure and they have a better understanding. For one small example, I can tell you, my daughter did audiology and speech language pathology as her course. When she said to Dad, I'm going to do this course, I tell you frankly, I did not know what it was. I did not ask her also because my ignorance should not be exposed. So I told her, go ahead and do it. Subsequently, when she qualified, I came to know that it's one of the best courses available at that point of time. And in places like Australia or New Zealand, they are very well paid. And my daughter is very well paid. She's in New Zealand today. She's married and she's in New Zealand. So I think the children know much better than the parents. So let us give them the long rope. Let them take the course that they want to do. Let them complete it and succeed in life. Let us not thrust upon them something. Everybody will not succeed. Everybody will not have the same luck as I had. That's
I think those are golden words, sir, for ending for anybody, even for the parents and for the students also. And one final question. So one final question with that will end.
Go ahead.
Like right now, 65. What if you were to look now face to face to Suresh Kumar of 24, 25 years old? At that time, just growing up in life, taking life head on. And with that time, definitely would have fear, anxiety, so many things you would be having in your mind. Now you have crossed that. What would be your message to Suresh Kumar now of 24, 25 years old at that time?
That's a good question. 24, 25 years old Suresh Kumar did not have that maturity in him. And he was very playful, I would say. In fact, his involvement in cricket was much more than his involvement in his education. He had been lucky that he has come thus far. Okay, maybe he should have been more mature. He should have studied harder than he did during those 25, 26 years age. That is when the 3 years, 3.5 years, 2.5 years of articleship he should not have wasted. That is what I would say. But then you have been lucky. God saved you. And so don't think about it. Forget about it. Enjoy your life for the rest. That is my advice to Suresh.
Thank you, sir. It's been actually a really wonderful and exciting conversation to have with you. I'm really
Thank
kind
you.
of humbled and I would say really blessed to have such a conversation with you. Your insights, your sense of mind and mind sense and everything. And I hope people watching would be also be beneficiary to all the insights and this knowledge and whatever experience which Suresh sir has shared with us. And really thank you, sir, for taking out time from your schedule.
Oh, sure.
And if possible, we can have some conversations in future also based upon certain topics if you are also mutually interested.
Sure. In fact, I should thank you for taking me down memory lane and for me to open my heart and speak to people. I mean, if this particular conversation is going to be of help to somebody, I think I'll be very happy about it. Thank you very much. Thank you for giving me this wonderful opportunity. And I hope that we will speak to each other again, not very far away.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Namaskaram, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.